So, peace and blessings, family, peace and blessings. Marina here with part 8 of my interlude, I like to call it, where I'm kind of going through talking about the conceptualization and the idea behind my book of poetry, If I Decide to Fly, collected poems of affirmation and celebration for African American men. I had been away for a while, hadn't had a chance to get back, so much going on, but I did want to complete this project and at least go all the way through the parts of the book that I wanted to go through and talk about. When I left off previously on part 7, once again this is part 8, when I left off on part 7, I talked about a couple of poems that I wanted to come back and visit. And so I was in this section of the book called Got It Going On, where these poems all kind of are like a tribute to Black men from Black women. The way we see their beauty, not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, just all of the yumminess that they encompass. And I did 2 poems from this section. I did I'm Your Girl and Your Excellence. But there was still a couple of poems that I did not do that I'll come back to and do those maybe a little bit later, maybe, I'm not sure if I'm going to do those or not. But there was one poem in particular called Hunk of Black Man, which is what I call my signature poem. I remember when I used to be out on the circuit kind of doing my poetry, and I would go different places, and people that had heard me before would always request, you got to do that poem, Hunk of Black Man. You got to do that poem, Hunk of Black Man. And I love to recite Hunk of Black Man because, first of all, it's very interactive. The men, I love to look at the faces of the brothers in the audience when I'm reciting this poem. And I love the interaction that the sisters give, relating to this idea of a hunk of Black man, whatever that is for them. Not just necessarily physical attributes, but just the idea of just the beauty and the aura and the awe of Black men. So I am going to recite Hunk of Black Man. I think I remember most of the poem because I've done it so many times, but I'm gonna have it here just in case, just in case there's a line or two that I miss. Hunk of Black Man. Oh, and I also like to say, this poem was inspired, I used to live in DC, and it was actually inspired by a brother that I saw. I used to go to the park early in the morning, sometimes just kind of sit out there and watch the planes take off, and it's near the airport. And so I would go, and this particular day, a brother was out there kind of getting ready for his morning run, doing his stretches, and he inspired this poem. And I think you all remember I said that there were a couple of poems, this one, and maybe the other one that I'll do, Black Must Be Beautiful Again, that came kind of after the initial downloading of all the other poems. But Hunk of Black Man is one of those poems that actually came afterwards. So, Hunk of Black Man. Sitting in Haynes Point one hot summer day, checking out the fellas and passing the time away, when my girl and I spotted a sight of true bliss, and our conversation went something like this. Girl, look over there, ain't he fine? I saw him first, so honey, he's mine. Look at those strong Black hands. Girl, ain't nothing on this earth like a hunk of Black man. So by now you should have seen us, y'all. We were foaming like dogs, happy as 2 bumps on $1 million log. My girl stood up, striking a pose. I looked her outfit over, then checked my clothes. He kept on stretching those gorgeous black thighs. Lord have mercy, I thought I'd die, like greasy fried chicken from an old frying pan. Y'all, ain't nothing on this earth like a hunk of Black man. Well, as fate would have it, brother headed our way, glittering like gold under the sun's hot red. Beautiful black skin he seemed full of pride as he neared our bench with an awesome stride. So y'all, I crossed my long, pretty brown legs. My eyes made the statement, I ain't too proud to beg. Mesmerizing voice like a summer songbird as he passed by us and spoke these words. Good morning, beautiful sisters. What a lovely day. He was so fine, y'all, there was nothing we could say. As we watched that brother disappear behind a park blue van, I thought to myself, y'all, ain't nothing on this earth like a hunk of black man. I say. So as you can see, it just celebrates everything. It celebrates their beauty, their respect. You know, the way the brother spoke, "Good morning, beautiful sisters. What a lovely day." You know, the way they speak to us back in the day. You know, I'm sure there's still some brothers that speak to sisters that way now. But you know, it's just an acknowledgement of the love and the beauty that we as Nubian women have for our men. I say. Okay, so that's Hunk of Black Man. There also is a poem in here that was inspired by Wesley Snipes. Yeah, imagine that. Wesley Snipes back in the day. Wesley Snipes was the man, y'all. If y'all don't know about Wesley Snipes, y'all need to really go ask somebody. But Wesley Snipes back in the day was the man. So then we go into the next section of the book called It Goes Deeper Than. And these poems, very spiritual pieces, I like to call them. There's the piece, If I Decide to Fly, that's in this section. A poem called Knowledge, a poem that's a tribute to Brother Malcolm X, Climb of Life, and then of course a poem a poem that I wrote for my son, who was actually the whole inspiration behind this book, and I'm actually going to read that one. And then of course a poem that I wrote a tribute to my granddad T, as a black man. Just great stuff in here, really good stuff. But my poem to Jumani, my son Jumani, it says, Jumani, Swahili, meaning born on Tuesday, son of a proud mother, born in America, but planted in Africa. Yeah, he was actually born on a Monday. Supposed to be born on a Tuesday, but he was actually born on a Monday. But his name, Jumani, is a Kiswahili word, which means born on Tuesday. What else do we have here? Let's see, do I want to do... I don't want to do that one. Okay, so I'm going to go to this section. It Goes Deeper Than. And let's see, If I Decide to Fly, that's in there. Let's do a tribute to Malcolm X. That's, always got to do a tribute to Malcolm X. Malcolm X. It's called Brother Malcolm, a tribute to Malcolm X. Brother Malcolm, if you were here today, what to the young man would you say? How would you help him to understand that killing his brother doesn't make him the man? What advice would you pass along to focus his gifted mind and keep him strong? What words would you say to make him see that his brother is not his enemy? How would you begin to restore his pride, help him tap into the beauty inside? How would you help him to uplift all the possibilities of his gift? Yeah, Brother Malcolm, Brother Malcolm. Always alive, always alive, always alive, always alive. Well, okay, and then I can't not do this poem that's a tribute to my granddaddy. This poem is called Granddaddy J, and it's a tribute to my granddaddy, James T. Kusar. Granddaddy J. Whenever I see my granddaddy J, I reflect on the price he had to pay as I glimpse my history of yesterday through aged eyes full of cataracts, cloudy and gray. He never learned to read or write, but his wisdom went beyond any seeing man's sight. Granddaddy's smile lit up the darkest room, and in the dead of winter could make flowers bloom. Gentle and kind, not asking for much, but giving immeasurable love to each life he touched. I can see him through memories I hold dear today, sitting in his rocking chair, watching us play, chewing tobacco in his mouth. He'd tell stories of growing up in the racist South. My deep love for my granddad to some may seem odd, but I know in his presence I walked closer to God. Yeah, my granddaddy's still with me, still with me, still with me. Okay, and then there's a final chapter of the book called And the Sisters Say. And the Sisters Say. I think I'm gonna do, I did 2 poems as a tribute to Wesley Snipes. I was really feeling Wesley Snipes back in the day. I think I will hold this section for the next time, and I'll actually close out. So my book if I decide to fly, it used to be called In Celebration of You, Black Man. But if I decide to fly, collected poems of celebration and affirmation for African American men, part 8. Peace and blessings, and thank you all for joining me for this tribute to Black men. Peace.